The year is 1979. Punk is sweeping the world, and in Ilford, Essex, a youth club stage bursts into life as the Stereotypes are unleashed. This 4-track EP follows, and then the Stereotypes mysteriously disappear. Fast forward 42 years, and the Stereotypes are blasting back on the scene with their debut album, Forward. But who are they? Where did they go? How come they're back? I think it's time to reveal the story. And who better to tell us than Ashley Grant, lead singer of the Stereotypes. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, very well. That's quite a story and quite a gap, isn't it?
It is quite a story and quite a gap. But as we're revealing the Stereotypes, maybe I should reveal myself. Here we go. Hi.
There he is.
Here I am.
Wow, okay, so we're going to have to go backwards to get forwards. I want to find out about the single you just showed us from 1979. I understand there's quite a story attached to that.
Absolutely. So, the Stereotypes, formed in Ilford, Essex in 1978, did one single, one gig, had a big row, and then split up. And that was it. End of the Stereotypes.
Rock and roll then.
And we all went our separate ways and forgot about it all. However, about 4 years ago, I was contacted by Dizzy Holmes, owner of the record label Detour, who the first thing he did was ask me if I was sitting down. So I said, yes, I was. And he said, do you realise that that single by the Stereotypes is now the rarest punk single of the era, and it's changing hands for £1,200?
Wait. How much?
£1,200.
Good God.
So I thought, blimey. So I said to Dizzy, well, is there interest in the band? And he said, yeah, it's a really, really big thing. It's a big mystery. Everybody wants to know who you are. Do you know where the other members are? And I said, well, I don't know if they're dead or alive, to be honest with you. We're all getting on a bit. It's been like 40 years. But I managed to track them all down. We got together in a rehearsal room, and immediately the magic was still there. And, of course, the arguments. And we got a tape of that one gig we did, which was pretty muffled and rubbish, but we kind of pieced together the set that we did and started working on a live set for 2015, 2016.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Fantastic. So you're going on about 1979, so there's people that will remember it and there's people that won't. So can you describe life as a teenage punk back then?
Yeah, I was 13 when punk kicked off. I got into it by hearing stuff on John Peel, legendary John Peel, and I used to sneak out of my parents' house and go up to London and go to clubs like the Marquee, Roxy, Roundhouse, and I knew the bouncers, so they let me in. So I got to see all those bands, those big bands from 76, 77, Sex Pistols, Ramones, Damned, Boomtown Rats, Undertones. It was a great time, and I picked up on a lot of musical ideas from seeing these bands live, who were fantastic.
Do you feel there's any of those bands in particular that inspired you, or is there anyone prior to them that influenced you at all?
I think we were influenced by Ramones, which had been my influence. John Ward, who was the main songwriter, he was influenced by bands like MC5. So we had that kind of punk heritage where we picked up on bands like Iggy and the Stooges, MC5, and then I brought in an element of the new punk sound of Ramones, Damned, and the people that I was going to see as a little boy.
So we're going to move it forward now. You mentioned about Dizzy and being rediscovered there, but how did you actually manage to get the band together? I mean, where was everyone? What was everyone doing?
Well, it was a sort of bit by bit. I managed to track down James, the bassist, first, And then he contacted other people and he tracked down John the guitarist. Then I found Steve the drummer, who went on to become a policeman. And
wow, okay, very, very punk.
Very punk. And we agreed to get together and see what we could do. And as I say, it was all still there. So we put a set together that reflected what we did in 1979 with some new songs chucked in. We managed to do our second gig in about 2017, which went down really, really well. And we said, well, look, let's see if we can do our debut album. So we spent the next few years writing all the songs on Forward.
And there it is. So you just showed it to us, and the title on there is Forward, Forward. Can you explain?
Yes, I can explain.
Thank you.
So it was my idea, so I'm to blame. Okay, so the album is called Forward because hopefully we're going forward, but I've made it a capital F and a capital W. So the word reads Forward because the guitarist and main songwriter of the Stereotypes is John Ward. So this album is kind of for him.
Ah, now it makes sense. So would you prefer it to be pronounced Forward or Forward?
You can pronounce it however you like.
Fantastic. I think I'll go with Forward. Okay. So just been looking at that CD there, and there's some interesting tracks on it. Just wondering if you could give us a bit of an insight on some of them. There's one that I'm interested in, Parisienne.
Well, Parisienne, good choice. As you will see on the original single from 1979, it is spelt Parisienne.
It is.
Which is masculine, which is a misprint on the label. Because it is about a woman. There, I believe John went on a school trip to France and a French woman walked past and he fell in love with her.
Aww.
So he wrote the song Parisian. And as you can see on the album, it's the first track. Can you read that?
There we go, just to the right. There we go.
Well,
Gotcha.
It's there, Parisienne. So when we played a couple of gigs before the lockdown, we used to play Parisienne or Parisienne, and it went down super, super well. So we thought we'd re-record it for 2021. And it's the first track on the album.
With the correct grammar.
With the correct grammar.
All right, there's another one that caught my eye. Goodbye, Cruel World. Care to explain?
Yes, I do care to explain. Goodbye, Cruel World was written by James Harrison, the bassist and producer of the Stereotypes, lucky him, and he wrote it as a positive song, i.e. goodbye to the cruel world and hello to the happy, wonderful world. However, I misinterpreted it and I thought it was a song about suicide. So whenever I sing it about suicide, although it's not written about it. So it's a bit of a dichotomy, that track.
So as with the title of the song, take it whichever way you choose.
You can take it however you like.
Okay, and one more I just wanted to ask you
yes.
about that struck a chord. I hate work.
Well, that's my universal hate anthem. I was at work, I hated it, so I wrote the song I Hate Work. Work's a bitch, you wouldn't do it if you were rich, which is very true. And I just think that everyone can relate to that song on a Monday morning where they're at work and they think to themselves, I wish I wasn't.
Yeah, what the hell am I doing here? Absolutely. So moving on to the situation as it stands at the moment in the world with the pandemic going on, affecting everything.
Oh, yes.
Do you feel that it helped or hindered the Stereotypes? And one more thing before you start, is your mask a protection against the pandemic?
It could be, couldn't it? It could be a protection against the pandemic.
Were you just ahead of your time?
If you did that, then maybe it would be. Well, it did both. It helped and hindered us. It helped us that it gave us the time to write songs, to record them, to listen to the mixes, to re-record them. So it gave us a chance to do the album. What it stopped us doing was from playing live, because we can't, even now, aren't supposed to get together to rehearse. So it allowed us to do the album, which I'm really pleased with. but it stopped us from playing live, which is something we can sort out in the next coming months.
Okay, we'll look forward to that for sure. Going back to punk, which is where obviously what this is all about, the punk ethos, do you think it still exists today?
Yeah, I do actually, and I don't think it's just about punk. I think it's about all types of music, alternative music, techno, garage, rock. The attitude is DIY. The attitude is do it yourself, do what you want to do, don't follow any rules, and just do what you feel is right. And I think if you've got that attitude towards your music, whatever kind of artist you are, you have the punk ethos. But the best way to find that out is to come and see the Stereotypes, and we'll tell you whether you've got the punk ethos or not.
Shameless self-promotion there. Love
Always.
it. Love it. Okay, so I guess what we all need to know, the CD is out now?
This comes out on March the 5th, and it's available from Detour Records. All you need to do is go on Detour Records' website and type in the Stereotypes and we'll appear. Or, if you're this way inclined, it's on amazon.co.uk. Now, on amazon.co.uk and on Detour Records, you can buy it as a CD album. Or, if you're more digitally inclined, you can buy it as an MP3 download, which is a bit cheaper, and then you can walk around listening to it on your headphones.
Sounds good, sounds perfect. So, what's next?
Okay, as soon as we're allowed and the government lets us out of our enclosed lockdown situation, we will rehearse and we will start playing live again, and we'll let you know when we're playing and what we're doing on our Facebook, Insta and Twitter pages.
Ah, yes, I was just going to ask you, do you have a social media presence? Where can people find you?
Yeah, on those three that I just said, and the moniker is at UK Stereotypes. So if you type that in on Facebook, for example, we'll pop up, we'll let you know what we're doing, we interact with you, talk to us, we'll talk to you, go and get the album, you will enjoy it. Or else.
All right, so we know where to find you. We know what's coming next. So all that remains is to thank you. Thank you for returning to us.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to seeing you out on the road sometime soon.
Yeah.
And I think we all need to be a little bit Parisian these days, don't we?
Well, that's true. Just remember, we are all stereotypes.
It's really amazing. So yeah, if you told me that in French, I would be amazed.